Jharkhand in 2017 kicked off a new wave of states bringing laws to regulate religious conversions. Since then, pretty much every year has seen a new state bring a similar bill. After Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Haryana, Karnataka is the latest state in the country to have brought a similar law. Today, we're talking about the Karnataka Protection of Right to Freedom of Religion Ordinance, which was promulgated in May 2022. State laws regulating religious conversions date as far back as the 1960s. Madhya Pradesh and Odisha were among the first few states to enact a law against forced religious conversion in 1967 and 1968. Today, 12 states have a Freedom of Religion Act in place, and they have two things in common. One, they prohibit forced religious conversions and prescribe harsh penalties for violations. And two, they prescribe a process for lawful religious conversion. Some have questioned whether states should be allowed to regulate religious conversions, and some of these acts have been challenged in the courts for their constitutional validity. Here's what the Supreme Court has said in the 1977 landmark case when the Madhya Pradesh and the Odisha Acts were challenged. The Supreme Court noted that under Article 25 of the Constitution, a person has a fundamental right to convert their own religion willfully. Article 25 does not grant the right to convert another person to one's own religion, and state legislatures can regulate forced conversions for preserving public order. Which brings us to Karnataka. Preserving public order is the stated objective of the Karnataka government in bringing this ordinance. In the Statement of Objects and Reasons, the ordinance notes that several instances of forced religious conversions have caused disturbances to public order in the state. Given the objective of preserving public order, the ordinance prohibits religious conversions through use of force and prescribes penalties for violations. The bill also prescribes the process for lawful religious conversions. It further mandates that for marriages in which a party wishes to change their religion, this process will have to be followed for the marriage to be solemnized. Separate penalties are prescribed for not following this process. For instance, failure to give an advance declaration by a person wishing to convert their religion will attract an imprisonment of 1 to 3 years and a fine of at least Rs 10,000. The provisions of the bill do not apply to cases where an individual converts back to the religion that they followed immediately before their conversion. The provisions of the bill raise some issues. The bill requires an individual wishing to convert their religion to give a public notice both before and after their conversion. Such a provision may be against the objective of preserving public order, and so the bill may not be able to meet its stated public purpose. The Special Marriage Act 1954 also has a similar provision. When this was challenged in the Allahabad High Court, the court had interpreted this notice requirement as voluntary and noted that if such a requirement was made mandatory, it would violate an individual's right to privacy. Two other provisions of the ordinance may be violative of a person's right to privacy. The ordinance allows any person associated with the converted individual or even their colleagues to file a complaint. Since the term associated is not defined, it is unclear who all can complain under the Act. The ordinance mandates the district magistrate to inform the employer of the converted individual after his or her conversion. It is unclear why. An exemption to cases where an individual converts back to their previous religion may be violative of the right to equality. The Himachal Pradesh Freedom of Religion Act in 2006 had similarly exempted such conversions back to the previous religion from the requirement of a public notice. The Himachal Pradesh High Court has struck down this provision on the grounds that it was discriminatory and violative of the right to equality. For more updates on bills, state assemblies and parliament, visit our website prsindia.org.